Anyway, here we go. What's up? I'm lit better today because I moved my light from here to there, right in front of me, so you know you can just see all of this here. But we're interviewing Aeralie Brighton today. It's not really an interview. It's more just like I'm gonna give her a call and we're gonna talk for a little while. That's really it. No, this isn't a fresh start. I'm going to be continuing from my game. I will not be spoiling anything. Yeah, but a lot more light than last cast. So we'll be, if you go to Microsoft Studios blog, Microsoft Studios had an interview themselves with Aeralie today, and Aeralie Brighton is the voice actress, the vocalist of Sign, the little blue ball in the game, and also the I guess the vocalist of a lot of the vocal tracks in Ori and the Blind Forest. If you haven't played this game, I highly suggest you do so. It is an amazing story. If you're here, you know what I like in games. You know that I like story-based games. You know that I like feelsy games. This game definitely had a hell of a lot of that. Hi, Jaden Smith. What the heck, Viper? What the heck? But I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try and play this, but my focus is going to be on Aeralie, of course. And if you have any questions for her, please put them in chat. I don't think this is gonna be like such a Red Viper. Thanks for the host. Potato, thank you for the host. Yeah, DDR story base, of course. It has to do with my feet. We're just gonna be focusing on the interview. So with that said. Love you too, man. I'm gonna pull up the game, but this interview is quite great. Talking about the characters, there would be a lot of like if you've read this article, then there are actually a lot of repeats here. But you can read that yourself. I missed that host. I'm sorry, but I'm so happy to be doing this. I'm actually really nervous. That's why I have. Cheers. Anyway, it's time. Let me load up the game. Let me load up the game, and we'll get to it. I will. You hear that? That's her. We're bringing her in. We're doing this. All right. I'm gonna press the button. Tweet this out, by the way. Tweet this out if you can. Actually. Frickin' yeah, tweet this out. This is gonna be pretty big. This is pretty big for me. I have not done something like this before. So let's do it. Let's see if Skype works. Let's see if Skype works with me first. Let's see if that happens.
Hello.
Hello, Aeralie.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. I had to mute Twitch here. I'm sitting here listening to two of you.
Oh, no, it's no worries. Okay, cool. So, man, I gotta say, this is my first. I've been doing this streaming thing for about 10 months now. And I gotta say, you're the first interview that I've gotten. So I apologize if I'm a bit flustered at times. I know you've probably done a heck of a lot of these things already. But
totally fine. And cheers. I'm drinking white wine.
Oh, you are? Oh, just
yeah.
Man, this will be good then. This will be good.
Yeah, I've got my Moscato. Usually I'm a red wine drinker. I do like red wine.
I'm a big Syrah person myself, actually.
I love Syrah.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're Syrah buddies. It's official.
Indeed. So yeah, Aeralie is also from LA as well. Are you originally from LA?
Actually, no. I'm from all over. I was originally from Sacramento, California, and after I graduated high school, I worked as a secretary for the county of Sacramento for a while for the sheriff's department. I got bored after 4 years and decided I wanted to go travel the world. And where else could you go that your bills would be paid, you get to travel, whatever, other than the military? So I signed up. And I was a combat veteran, or combat veteran now, I was a combat air traffic controller.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So did you serve in did you
In
serve
Iraq.
overseas in Iraq?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Iraq. Let's see. I was stationed in South Carolina. I was at Fort Jackson.
Okay.
I was at Fort Rucker, Alabama. I was at Wheeler Army Airfield in Hawaii, Schofield Barracks. I spent a little bit of time in Kuwait, in Tikrit, Iraq, which was called Spiker. And after I got home, after our unit came back, we were in the middle of preparing for the next deployment. And it just so happened that I had an opportunity to part ways and pursue an education. And due to circumstances in overseas deployed, I was no longer medically qualified for my job.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I decided I wanted something equally as challenging and fulfilling. So I was like, why not study biochemistry, like randomly?
Whoa! All right.
Yeah.
I was about to say. I was about to think like, oh, okay. Here's where she comes in with the acting bit. Okay, go on with the biochemistry. No,
I've always been this overachiever. Like I've always wanted to find something intrinsically challenging and rewarding. You know, I really want to give back. And I got through a couple of semesters of school and decided I wanted to be a virologist. You know, study viruses and come up with cures, stop or start the zombie apocalypse. I didn't know which one. And, you know, there was one night I was actually looking on YouTube for music to study to, and I came across this composer who was absolutely amazing, just blew me away. His name is Ivan Torrent.
Okay.
And we really hit it off. I emailed him and thanked him for his music, and he wrote me back after a long back and forth conversation and just said, hey, do you sing? I'm thinking to myself, well, I mean, I don't really sing. I just, you know, I did musical theater growing up as a kid. I did choir here and there as like a little kid, and just, you know, never really thought it was feasible.
Yeah.
But I said, you know, instead of asking why, start asking why not. So I said, sure. And I sent him a little vocal clip. And this little vocal clip, which actually is on my SoundCloud, I can send it to you.
Okay.
It's literally like a 43-second little clip, and that clip is what started my entire career. He sent it to his friend in London who owns a trailer company for movie trailers, and I started singing for, you know, just like little background tracks for some of these composers, and that led to another piece, to another, and then the next thing I know, I had an opportunity to come out here to LA, and this was only slightly over a year ago.
Okay.
And again, I'm just thinking to myself, like, why not? You know, life's too short to always wonder, like, damn, I wish I could have done this or done that with my life. And I have no kids. You know, I have no real huge commitments. And so I packed up my car with everything I could squish in, everything I couldn't fit, stayed behind. I literally had only like $200 to my name, and like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go. So I left, and I made it to LA, and you know, I must have done something right, said something to the right person, the right people believed in me, because within 3 months, I start working for Xbox. I start doing stuff with Disney. I start working for Warner Chappell, doing stuff for Sony. I mean, I've been very, very, very fortunate and blessed to be surrounded by people who constantly push me and, you know, make me strive to want to outdo myself each and every day.
Yeah.
So,
that's amazing. I mean, like, I guess I can kind of relate to that story. I was kind of due to be in business. Like I always wanted to have my sort of destiny decided, and I thought I decided it in high school. Obviously, that's not the case. I wanted to be in business, and I went from web design was my hobby, and then I couldn't find a job in business after I got out of high school, or after I got out of college. I majored in entrepreneurship. I couldn't get out of there. Couldn't get a job. So my dad, you know, who knew I was doing web design at the time, was like, why don't you, you know, get a web design job? And that kind of, you know, that was my first big shift. And I only got into this, like, again, 10 months ago. So this is like sort of my second. It's like you had we both had two big shifts, and then went into some kind of like, you know, performing. Yeah,
I'm so proud of you, by the way. I don't know if I said that, but I am so, so proud of you, because like I said before, life is so short, especially everything I've seen in my life. And, you know, opportunities may or may not come again. You know, time is going to pass regardless. It's up to us whether or not we make it count. And, you know, there's so many people that always have these dreams that are very, very capable of accomplishing it, and they think that, oh, I'm not ready. Well, it's not up to you to determine that. I mean,
of course, yes.
Who knows? Like, maybe if I would have just said when I was back in Texas, like, oh, you know, I don't think I'm ready. I only have $200. How the hell am I going to live? No, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it because I saw the potential and the value in an opportunity. And that's a gift. And I'm so happy for you because you found an opportunity. And look, we love you. We have fans that love you. And it's, you know, you're doing great things. Look at how many people you can inspire and reach and touch.
Well, thank you. I mean, this has been it's been an enlightening experience for me. I mean, I do work for Twitch as a web designer there, and it's like this is sort of my alter life, and it's like kind of half like doing research on like what it is like to be a broadcaster, and you know how we can affect people at you know, working at Twitch, how we can affect people's lives, like their streaming lives, how we can, you know, make them more money, how we can make streaming a better, just a better medium, because you know it's going to explode. It's exploding, and it's going to keep exploding until it's synonymous with the word sports. Unless we no longer need, you know, the words television, or television is used to describe streaming, and sports is used to describe esports. Like that's sort of the direction we're headed in. But yeah, it's really cool that that's how you found it, because obviously like people, you know, think that I've been doing web design all my life. They're like,
hey man, fake it till you make it. No, actually,
I completely agree with that.
Fake it till you become it. I like that better. Fake it till you become it.
Fake it till you become it.
I don't believe that we ever truly make it, because if you quote unquote make it, it means you're complacent, you've settled, and you've got nothing left to achieve and accomplish.
Oh, completely.
And I don't know about you, but I plan on living a whole hell of a lot longer and to experience new things and to meet new people.
It's you have made this this talk so much easier, because I feel like we're kind of cut from the same cloth here.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you inspire me. Like, you just gained a new fan.
Oh man. So I guess if I may ask, if I may be so bold, like you've been through what some people would call like a lifetime of sort of like serving in the military. That has to feel like a lifetime for you. You know, going into science has to feel like a lifetime. Could you give us some insight into how many years like you spent in those sort of careers before you found yourself singing?
You know what's insane is I don't really measure it by time, and I know I'm like completely abstract in my thinking, but people can look at me in many different ways. That's the beauty of our world, is we view things through different lenses.
Yes.
Life is all about perspective, and I don't look at me jumping around to different careers as like, oh, I failed at this, or oh, like I'm indecisive. Well, you know, I'm going to backtrack. I am slightly indecisive, but
but I think but if you're not indecisive, like you can't say fuck it. Like if you're decisive, you're like, okay, this is where I'm going with. You can't say, you know, I'll just do this just because. You know, you give yourself reasons. So I understand.
Yeah. No, I think truly it's more about living in the moment and loving and respecting yourself enough to know what you're worth, and knowing when something doesn't mesh well with what is inherently what you're made of, what you believe in, your moral fabric.
Of course.
It's, you know, it's just, like I said, time is going to pass regardless. And there's so much that I want to do and see and experience, and I'm just not going to waste my time with something that I feel like I'm settling for. And it is a very scary thing to live in the moment and to live on the edge. You don't have to be completely reckless, but that's where the belief in yourself comes in, because you have to, you'll always be your number one cheerleader. And if you don't believe in you, how the hell are other people going to believe in you and want to hire you?
Oh, of course. So calculated risks.
Yeah, it's a twofold thing. And I mean, I think truthfully, if I could give anybody any sort of advice, my number one thing would be to know your strengths and know your weaknesses, have a realistic assessment, an honest assessment of where you stand. You know, I mean, I wouldn't, if I didn't have the capacity to vocalize and express myself and really connect with people, there's no way in hell I would ever even try to be a singer. It's not that, you know, I couldn't ever learn. It's just, am I in touch with myself? If I can't move myself, if I can't feel what I'm singing, then how do I expect other people to really have that message conveyed to them?
I completely agree with that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
like when we were tracking vocals for Ori, I'll never forget the first time Gareth handed me the sheet music, and I was in the booth singing, and the first time the video came on, and as I heard my voice with the mock-up, I was bawling like a baby. Like I had tears streaming down my face, and I'm like, this is how I know it's authentic. Like I don't ever want to release anything that isn't authentic feels.
Oh, you gotta have, yeah. There's nothing quite like it. I think I can compare it to like the first time, one of my first big web design projects, or like, you know, I happened to design the card for, you know, Mark Zuckerberg's business card. Like that's part of my history. So it's
that's
like,
amazing.
yeah,
that's
you know, seeing that and like referenced in like the social network and things like that. Like it's just, you get this like, I don't want to stop doing this. And
You're
think
so cool. I'm toasting you right now. Toast. Cheers.
Cheers. Toast to the camera. It's been a spectacular life so far, for both of us, and I think that what you have to say rings to a lot of people that are in the chat right now, because it's like people on Twitch, they're not just viewers, they're also streamers. Like one of my teammates on Main Menu, you probably know him, Brotato. He was on the Xbox channel. He was streaming Ori. He completed it a couple of days ago. Like he's like early 20s, working his ass off. One of the best marketers I know.
Yeah. Like
trying to make his dream come true. And there's so many others that are trying to do that. They just watch other people. They learn from them, and just to have those like. To hear from somebody who has been like in a game, in a piece of work that we respect, to say that you just got to trust in yourself. You got to trust in your own skills. It's going to be uncomfortable at times, and then just put it out there, and people will find you.
But that's the beauty of life, though, is I genuinely feel that you're on the right path if you're always feeling a little bit uncomfortable. You should never feel completely in your zone. Dude, I'm always scared as hell to go into new sessions or meet new executive producers or whatever. Like I'm always shaking or whatever, but that's what fuels me. It's that drive, that hunger to want to really just like, not even for everybody else, do it for yourself, because you owe it to yourself to find out what your maximum worth and potential is.
Of course, yes.
You know, and if you're always striving for something higher, it's like, you can never go wrong. You'll never like sell out or fall off track, because you're always hungry for more. Yes. It's like the universe ever expanding. So are our dreams.
Agreed. That is well said. That is really well said. And I think, yep, the people in the chat agree. Like Red Viper saying right now, Twitch is a giant family. And like, if you ever get the chance to go to a PAX or to TwitchCon, and hang out with any of the people of Twitch, it is one gigantic family. We're all in this together.
Man, let's figure it out. Let's make it happen.
I totally would. I like so. PAX Prime is in August in Seattle.
I'm serious. I'll make it happen if you want to make it happen.
I would totally like love to have you like at the booth or something. Like I'm not. I'm only a designer, but if like there's some way we can get you on there. You up there would be great.
I want to stop you too. Don't ever just say you're only something. You're mitigating your value.
Oh, you're getting me.
I'm serious. Like life is all about perspective. I know I keep harping on that, but it's so true. And the power of a single thought can make or break, you know, what you attract to yourself.
Yeah, of course.
Look at the strides you've made in your life. You've accomplished so much already. You inspire me. And so I'm really grateful that we got to connect.
Well, the feeling is definitely mutual, I have to say. I think it's always really nice hearing it come from people in different lines of work, because like, you know, at Twitch or when I was a designer or whatever, you'd always kind of hear the quote unquote yes men, right? Like the people that would always be like, oh, you're doing a great job, clap, clap, you know, just keep it up. But to have somebody on the outside kind of look at, like whenever I have one of my like programming buddies come in here and it's like, wow, you're kind of good at this, or like you're working really hard at this. It's something that, you know, does not come naturally to me at all. Like this is not natural. Like 10 years ago, the only thing I did was like did on video was I was a weatherman for my high school. That's the only camera time I got. And all of a sudden I'm like, hey, you know what? I kind of want to do this Twitch thing. And then, now I'm sitting in an interview with somebody who has also kind of gone through the same thing.
Yeah. But see, it's like what you put out there. You
Yeah.
never know. I look at life as this way. I look at life as you're always auditioning. You never know who you're going to meet, who they are, who, for all, like, I'm so low key. I am totally cool with just chilling in a hoodie and some jeans, no makeup, hair down, whatever, and just like, hey, I'm going to go grab some coffee. And it's funny because people have no idea, like, your story or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's it's a great thing.
Yeah.
It really is. Totally going off on a tangent. I had a point I was going to make, and I couldn't.
Oh no! I love tangents. I do that all the time. I don't know. It's like the tangents kind of bring out some of the best topics. Yeah. And again, to the chat, if you guys have any questions for Aeralie, please do post them in chat, and she's lurking in there right now, so she'll be able to see them. I call that a lurker. I remember. Go ahead.
You were saying something about the constructive criticism or asking your peers or whatever for advice or like an honest assessment. Like, I always get people looking at me with horrified looks because I go to producers and I go to people who I value. I think that their work is like light years beyond my work. And I tell them point blank, rip me to shreds. Like, what? And I'm like, rip me to shreds. I want you to find the tiny, finite, minute details. Let's split hairs. How can I make myself better?
Yeah.
And it's good to have an honest assessment, have people be brutally honest with you, because that's how you fine tune your craft.
Of course. Yep.
So I just wanted to point out that I can relate to that. That's great.
Yeah, it's like you said, you're always evolving. It's always ongoing. If you never be complacent, et cetera, et cetera. It's just it's just funny how it applies to pretty much everything. It applies to like what you do, what I used to do, what I still do, and then streaming. You're always just trying to move forward. And I think some of the hardest workers are the people that are like in chat right now and the people that are around Twitch.
Absolutely.
Just trying to push a craft that's brand new. It's like,
well, that's what I love. That's what I really love about Twitch. I'll be completely honest with you. Prior to Ori, I had never visited Twitch before. I just didn't really know much about it. Unfortunately, that's the pitfall of doing what I do, is I don't have much time to do gaming and be on the receiving end of a game process. But I absolutely love it. And one of the things that really draws me is particularly why I stuck around in your channel for so long, lurking before I said something. It's just because you guys are so supportive, and that's what I love to surround myself with. I love to surround myself with strong people who empower me, who motivate me, and it's a beautiful thing. You guys have such a strong community, and I'm a huge advocate for that.
Well, heck, since we're bringing you into this whole Twitch thing, we're getting raided by somebody, and a raid is when somebody at a channel takes their viewers to another channel.
Okay.
And we're getting raided by a good friend of mine, Bobby Flail, and I would like you to welcome him and his raiders to the channel if you'd like to.
Sure, absolutely. So welcome, raiders, Bobby and your crew. More than welcome to be here.
There you go. Welcome, you guys. My name is Brian. You can also call me Avalon Star, Bobby Flail, and your raiders. Thank you so much for coming in. This is a very special edition of Avalon Star because I have with me the one and only voice of Sign from Ori and the Blind Forest. We have Aeralie Brighton, and we're having an amazing 20-minute talk so far about. I could go on. I feel like we could go on for hours if we could about we haven't even touched the game yet. I'm pausing the game like every 30 seconds because it's like the points are so strong. We're just to fill you guys in. We both we're kind of cut from the same cloth. We both didn't start out doing what we're doing right now. And we're kind of going over that. We're just talking about Twitch and how Aeralie found Twitch. So what was your first sort of impression of it? Was your first impression of Twitch through Ori? Or like, did you kind of find us like in the process before Ori came out?
I had a good friend of mine tell me a few years back about Twitch, and I remember him streaming everything, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like if you are broke, this week and can't get the game until next week or whatever, you can actually preview it.
Oh, yes.
So
Yep.
I knew of its existence. I just, like I said, I've always been kind of such a hard worker. I never give myself free time. So, like, honestly, I don't even have a TV, which is like really sad, but.
Who does have a TV these days? I swear everybody and then everybody in chat will be like, I canceled cable. I have a TV. I still love just being a couch potato, but.
Yay, internet.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But Twitch, like my first experience, I was kind of going in, doing away my little Secret Santa giveaways with the downloads on behalf of Xbox or Moon Studios, I should say. And it was funny because it was mixed feedback. Some people thought I was totally trolling. I got blocked like so many times. And I thought it was funny. I'm like, okay, no big deal. I sent private messages and said, hey, I'm legit. I'm not trying to like justify or whatever, but if for your own edification, if you'd like to just like search me, I felt silly saying it, but I'm like, you can Google me or tweet me and I'll totally tweet you back. And, it's kind of cool. Some people are like, oh, whatever. And then finally, like hours later, they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, it's totally fine. I get it. In this day and age, there's so many people who, for whatever reason, they like to, pose as other people. And
of course, yes.
So, but one of the things that enticed me about your chat, like I said earlier, is just you guys were so warm and welcoming. And I love just the vibe of you and your fans, your viewers. It's such a community, a family. And I'm like, man, this is so cool. And you guys were so grateful for the 2 download links, like the little free.
Oh yeah, but I love my community. And speaking of my community, I'm going to do this for a second. We just got a subscriber, Jules Pat.
Nice.
Welcome to the Crusaders, my friend. You already got faced on by the chat. Thank you so much for your support. And it's an honor to have you on the team, sir. I apologize to the chat for getting to you guys late, but I hope you're enjoying this as much or more than I. And it's going to be hard to do that because I'm enjoying this a hell of a lot. I love my little community here is like, again, 10 months, I got partner about a month ago. And I don't know, it's like, I don't grow nearly as fast as a lot of other people do. There have been people that have grown like leaps and bounds. They've gone partnership in like 500 subs or whatever, like numbers, right? In about like 4 months time. But the way I see it is that with this community in particular, and with a lot of the communities that like are intertwined with mine, like I kind of want to take the slow and steady route with it because I get to know everybody that's in here. Like obviously there are new faces that came, that have come in from the raids and etc. But most of the people in here I know, I've talked to, I've spent time with,
I love it. It's all organic. And that goes back to what I was saying before is authentic. No one can ever take away your authenticity. And people know that. People don't want to deal with fake people who like pretend like, oh, I care about you, and then don't give a shit about like, oh, hey, they remember you. Like people will always remember how you make them feel. Just even if it's a small fragment of time, like you take the time to say, hey, how are you? And you genuinely mean it. I would be a fan of somebody like that. It's like, oh my God, you remember me. I don't care if it was like a fraction of your day.
Yeah, at Twitch, we call that Senpai Noticed Me. And they do, people in chat, they do call me Avalon Senpai from time to time.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's amazing. Just like you'll walk into any chat on Twitch and you'll just see like Potato, for instance, if you ever go in there, his whole bro love thing, is just like his community is very tight knit as well. And you see all of these little tight knit communities of people with their own little memes and their own little sayings. And everybody loves their own communities and they love the community at large. I'd actually like to know, so when you joined Xbox, like how social of an experience is it there as an actor, as a worker in the industry, for those people, and especially myself, who don't really get to see inside that industry very much?
I think for me, I had a very unique experience. I actually was able to work remotely, so I didn't get the full corporate feel. But anytime we had gatherings or meetings or conferences like E3, it was really great to get together with everybody, even if it was just for a business dinner. And the one thing I really did like about our team with Microsoft is that again, it's like a family. You know, these people, they take so much pride in their work, and it really felt like a family. Like everybody on both sides between Moon Studios and Xbox, it was just like, okay, let's put aside our own personal needs and what do we do to make the end result, you know, that's our number one focus. And I really personally, I'm biased, I know, but I feel like it really shows, you know, that passion, that love, we all come together for one common good. So
That's really good to hear. I mean, there's such a, and I really feel like as a creator myself, I like really like throw a lot of love at you guys and a lot of empathy, at least, because I don't believe the gaming industry gets a lot of that because of the whole, like, you know, oh, the bugs that are in the game, or this was released too fast, or early access on Steam, or things like that. They don't actually see the people that work behind the scenes. They usually only see it through the people that talk about it, which are usually spokespeople. Like,
well, you know, I have to, I'd like to interject with you.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
One thing, a pivotal moment in my life that was life changing was when that composer wrote me back, the guy that I found on YouTube. And, you know, he is extremely established in Spain. He's a very, very well-known composer in the movie trailer industry and like the epic community. And the fact that this man, no matter how successful he is, took a moment in time to respond to me, that meant the world to me. And he was explaining to me, he's like, you know, it may take me a month, it may take me 2 weeks, it may take me a day, I don't know. But he's like, I always make sure to respond to my fans. It may take me forever, even if it's just a simple hello.
Yeah.
I make sure I make time for them because they're the people who believe in me, even when I need to remember to believe in myself. And it really stuck with me. Like, I don't think that there's ever an excuse to not make the time to at least say hello or express gratitude. Thank you. Like, these are the people that are your barometer of like, am I doing well? Am I not doing well? Because it's not for you, it's for them.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So it's like, how dumb would that be for me to be like, oh, here, buy my stuff, but oh, by the way, I don't have time for you, whatever. Like, no, that's crap. Like, if I'm a consumer, I want to know like who I'm giving patronage to. I want to know who I'm supporting. And even if it's just a small glimpse in time, like, it's hello. Like, even I know we've tried to get together before for an interview and then like we had other stuff come up, but
yes,
I was like, I totally hope you don't think I'm blowing you up because I swear.
No, I completely I completely understand that kind of stuff. Like dinners, events, you got everybody has their obligations. I think a lot of people in the chat also can understand that. It's something that we're trying to be evangelists about because you have a lot of people. You know, our audiences are of all ages, and there's some people that need to, I guess, be educated, for lack of a better word, about like the obligations people have. That senpai will notice you eventually, but he will, because they the feeling is there, and unfortunately, like in the mediums of text and things like that, like that doesn't come across. But I completely understand where you're coming from on that, and I think people feel much the same way. Again, I'll call out Bertata because he's one of the bigger streamers in here. He gets messages all the time from people, and he's always replying to people. Nice. And it's really tough for I guess it's tougher for streamers in a way, relative, but tougher because they're he's live every day, 6 hours a day, and it must
like
be you're always out there. It's like if your face is on camera every day of the week. It's like you're being bombarded by things that you have to reply to, that you have to say, you have to be on your quote unquote best behavior every day, and like you feel like crap if you're not. So it's like almost like it's like you're willingly putting yourself out there all the time to get all of this feedback. Absolutely. And then you still but you're still thankful, but you almost say it so much that it's like you hope it doesn't lose its meaning, right? So yeah, I mean, again, going back to your prior point. It is still amazing that you're here. It doesn't matter when it would have happened. I'm still glad that you were able to make it. We did have a question from chat, and I believe Bro did kind of address it to him, but Epic Pikachu here says that his biggest problem is that he's his own worst critic. He rips himself to shreds. Do you have any advice for what to do about that?
Dude, I'm proud of you. That's awesome. I know it's a personal struggle and personal, journey for each and every one of us, but how can you get better if you don't strip yourself down first? I equate it to the military. I went in not ever thinking I was quote unquote soldier material, and I may not have been the number one top soldier athlete, whatever, but it was a mindset. And I think instead of trying to look at life as the entire picture, sometimes we have to break it down, even if it's literally hour by hour. Mm-hmm. Dude, there were so many times I wanted to give up in basic training. I'm not gonna lie, I hated it. It was hard. I had to run on a fractured knee because I couldn't graduate boot camp if I, was on crutches, and they were going to let me go because I was slow. But I didn't care because at that moment in time, it became about not what everybody else expected of me, mm-hmm. because inherently, in kind of a warped way, I was getting my self-worth from the validation of others. Thereby, I was being exceedingly hard on myself because I was operating based on what I felt other people expected of me.
Yeah.
And when you can look at life through a different lens and perspective, you can see that none of that shit matters. Mm-hmm. Look at yourself. Find reasons to love and respect and be proud of yourself. Instead of looking at what you haven't done, look at what everything you have and how it's accomplished, how it has impacted the people around you. When you look at your life from an outside perspective, you want to be proud and you want to say, damn, I want to know that person. I want to be just like that person.
Yeah.
And when you can say that you've been down that road, then you're on track for yourself. I think,
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing to be hard on yourself and to be your own worst critic, because if you're not, nobody else is going to give you that honest feedback. But just don't forget to stop and remember where you come from and be proud of yourself for everything you have accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I would add to that. I'm also that way, Pikachu, in many ways, and still a little bit too hard on myself. That's just the way I am. But the way I've kind of, he had a second point here where he said, his other problem is he compares himself to others all the time. And I mean, you addressed that early. But
that's honestly, I'll just call it how it is. You got to get over that shit real quick, because in order for you to progress and move forward, you can't be focused on whatever. That's kind of like in my industry. There's some amazingly talented vocalists and singers who deserve just as much every right as I do to be where I'm at. And I think it's important that we remember our place, and we remember that we are all replaceable. Mm-hmm. So just knowing, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, and knowing that if you were trying to be everybody else, then, what do you offer? What do you have to offer that's unique that nobody else can? It's the way I like to explain it to people is, you're going into a record label and you're like, oh, I want to be the next Britney Spears or whatever. I know that's totally outdated, but, it's like, okay, well, great, but you're never going to be selling platinum, whatever. You're never going to reach to Britney's audience because there's already a Britney. So you're just a wannabe, whatever. Whereas, you come in and it's scary as shit to do something unprecedented. I get nervous all the time. Oh my God, what if my voice isn't good enough? I make up a language. I sing in gibberish. Who the fuck cares about that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
But it's you have to go on a limb and trust that you love what you do.
Yes.
And if you do and you take pride in it, people pick up on that, because maybe it's not what you're saying, maybe it's not what you're doing, but again, it's how you make them feel. Do you inspire them? Do you make them feel good about themselves? And do they want to in turn help better the world? It's all a snowball effect, and it all starts with positive thinking and loving yourself enough to know that you're worth it just as much as everybody else is.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Yeah, I've learned to kind of take those things. If I find myself if I find myself in with feelings of jealousy or anything like that, I kind of use that to empower myself. It's I can overcome this by embettering myself. And I think that's really helped me, especially in an industry like web design where it's completely visual.
Yeah.
And you're always looking at, oh my God, that's beautiful, that's sexy. My God, why can't I do that? Oh, I can. I can't, it's not like I just need to take time to emulate that and then make it my own. And that's what when I've taught people design, that's what I tell them. I'm like, emulate what I do, then make it your own.
Yeah, of course.
Progress past me. Like,
definitely. There's some good questions actually coming up in the feed that I can see too. I'd like to address those if that's okay.
That's fine.
So Easy8 has a question. It says, Aeralie, you've picked up a very solid core set of beliefs and values. Is there someone or a set of someones that have inspired you to your beliefs and practices, role models or inspirations? Honestly, it took a lifetime of hard knocks for me to realize that I need to stop feeling sorry for myself. Dude, okay, I have no shame. I will totally admit I was socially awkward as a kid. My friends consisted of my cats. I love...
How many? I gotta ask how many.
2.
I have 5.
Oh my goodness, I love cats.
Yes.
I currently have 2 Bengals. They're
nice.
They're part leopard. Actually, Asian leopard cats. Their names are Twinkie and Idjit.
Idjit. Oh, Idjit and Twinkie.
But anyway,
awesome.
I digress.
Go ahead. Yes.
I think that I finally got tired of feeling sorry for myself. Finally got tired of making excuses and blaming everybody else for me feeling miserable and feeling like a failure. It took a long time because I recognized that my self-worth was derived from the validation of people around me. And I kept thinking to myself, well, these people don't give 2 shits about who I am. They don't care about, my well-being. Nobody will look out for you like you. And fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, I lived a good part of my young teenage years like that. And I just got sick of it. I got so sick and tired of feeling like I'm left behind or feeling like uninspired. I always had these dreams, but I'm like, why can't I? Why can't, okay, so I originally started trying to be a pop singer and an R&B singer, and I am like the whitest girl there is. Like I have no business being, singing those genres. And it's funny because I noticed I can relate to people here in the chat because I too was comparing myself to what I thought I should be. Yeah. And the reason why I was quote unquote failing is because I wasn't doing what was meant for me, what I was good at, knowing my strengths and weaknesses. Yes. Just because Mariah Carey does amazing with what she does doesn't mean everybody else should be doing it. Yeah. And I think for me, I realized it's okay to use my voice as an instrument. It's okay to create beauty in an unconventional way. And guess what? It's working. Like it's making people connect with the beautiful visuals and the beautiful melodies that Gareth created. I mean, I'm so blessed and honored that I could be a tiny component in a bigger picture. It's just, it's a great thing. But so yeah, I don't think that there was any one particular person. I think it's just a matter of me having to dig deep and suck it up and say, you know what? It's time to grow up and it's time to really take control. One thing that's a pet peeve of mine is people who complain but then never want to do anything to fix it.
Oh, amen.
And it's not to knock anybody. I know that we all grow in different ways, but I think one of the ways that I've been able to even make it this far is I've learned to surround myself with positive people who are strong, who empower me, people who I want to walk in their path. I want to have the same effect on other people that they do on me. So that's kind of like where I've adopted some of my beliefs and whatever. I take here's a good way to put it. I take a little bit of each and every person that I meet and I file that away deep within my heart. And I think that that's kind of like how I've become who I am, because I take these learning experiences from each person that I encounter, and it's like, what are the good qualities of this person? What can I, how can I be like them in the sense that how can I have a positive impact on the people around me? That's kind of like what I look at. Or, you come into relationships or people that you encounter that are a little unsavory. And, it's like, okay, well, I see how not to be, because wow, you just made me feel like total butt.
Everybody is an example for something. Some good, some bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, completely agree with that. Like I actually really like the way you said it. I always kind of looked at it as, you're if where you are, you're on ground level and wherever your dream is at the top of a ladder, you're going to pass many people going up that ladder. And the point is to never forget the people you pass.
Oh,
because it's very easy to forget that when you're on the top.
Well, dude, the same people you see on your way up, you're going to see on your way back down.
On your way down.
So don't shit on them.
Yes.
Like, don't be that one seagull in the sky that shits on everybody, because, yeah, you're going to ruin it for all the other seagulls.
Yes. Very, very true.
Finding Nemo only happens once. Seagulls are only cute once.
True that. True that.
Oh, yeah. There was one other question in here. I'm trying to scroll back up, and I actually wanted to get to it.
Yeah, it was. I believe there was one. I forgot who it was from, but it was, how do you find balance?
Yeah, that's the one I'm reading right now.
Go ahead.
Okay. How do you find the balance between yourself and trying to be like the people you admire? So one thing here in LA that I've learned really quickly is that there's always a fine line between selling out and selling yourself short. It's really hard. I think the ultimate number one thing kind of ties in with everything I've already said is just being true to yourself. Don't ever question your intuition. Don't ever question the timing of opportunities. I think you go with it. You go with what's in your heart. And I always ask myself, is this for the betterment of my own good? And is this for the greater good of the people around me? And if it's yes to both of them, then instead of asking why, ask why not.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what's led me to the kinds of people and opportunities that I've been fortunate enough to encounter. So, and I hope that this is only the beginning. So.
Of course.
Yeah.
It definitely is. I mean, you said you've only been in this for about, not even a year yet.
A little over a year.
A little over a year at this point? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's twist this on its head a little bit. Why don't you kind of describe a day in the life of developing? I mean, we've probably seen this many times in developer videos or something like that, but I'm really interested in seeing how you described when you were in the cast on Friday, on Wednesday, how you just kind of came in. You were supposed to be a vocalist, but then you became a voice actress for Sign.
Yeah.
So if you can get into that and kind of describe a day in the life, that would be a great segue.
Yeah. So by trade, if you will, I started out, simply just singing, and as just a fun little thing and another service to opera composers. I've been blessed with a great gift to be able to improv on the spot. And so I can just create melodies, I can create languages on the spot. I can hear a chord and pretty much construct a whole song based on how that chord made me feel.
Wow.
And so, it was really cool. I was really, really lucky to kind of just have that happen. Gareth found me on YouTube and SoundCloud and was like, holy crap. This woman lives 10 minutes away from me, and she's the right voice. I guess he had been looking for 4 years.
Oh my!
So yeah, so it was crazy. So we had a lunch meeting, and I was brought on board. And I go to his studio, and we start singing, or I start singing. He hands me the sheet music, and at that time we were recording just for the E3 trailer. We hadn't actually started any production work yet, or I hadn't anyway. And he turns to me and he's kind of joking because they're still scrambling to find the right voice for some of the characters. And he's like, you don't by choice or by chance voice act, do you? And I was like, of course I do. And I had never voice acted in my life. I totally was whatever. And then I just started on the spot, I'm gonna me Ori. And he's like, oh my God, you're hired. He's like, what did you just say? And I'm just like, Ori?
Ori. That's all it's like. Can't repeat it, but I know there's Ori in there.
Yeah. And so it was funny. It was just kind of who does that? So they straight just put me in front of a mic, hit record, and then sampled me saying a bunch of different phrases. And then from there, they sent it off to our amazing sound design team. I think Andrew Lackey was one of the people working on it. He actually mixed Call of Duty and Matrix and a lot of other stuff, I should say.
Yeah. So,
it was definitely a team. I did not spearhead all of the genius you hear in Ori and Sign and all that. But yeah, that was kind of cool. So I had a unique experience. Like I said, I actually worked remotely, And
Remote
most of the
work. Sorry, I
yeah,
just gotta
well,
say it. It
yeah,
was my life.
yeah, Moon Studios. I don't know if you, I think you know this, but Moon Studios is actually, there's no physical studio. It's like literally all around the globe.
I did not know that, and I
The,
absolutely love that. That is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Remote work works, people.
mhm. The entire game was done through different people's computers and whatever.
That's sweet.
Microsoft is up in Seattle, I believe. And
Yes,
so,
yes.
things were getting sent back and forth, and Dropbox and Skype were our friends. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. But, the good thing is, I think the reason why things worked so well is because we had excellent communication.
Uh-huh.
So it's like we got feedback pretty quickly. There was a lot of quick turnarounds, and I was lucky because they liked just about everything that I did. There were only a couple times I think where they're like, the only problem I had was that they wanted more of what I was doing. It wasn't like, oh, you suck or whatever.
Yeah.
And I had Gareth too. I actually have to credit Gareth because Gareth definitely directed me a little bit. He's like, dude, okay, we're not like over the top dramatic here. So he kind of helped pull the brain back in, or he'd be
Yeah.
like, dude, okay, that sounded too Russian. That sounded too much like Swahili. He's like, let's at least get some consistency here so it doesn't sound like any specific language.
That's really interesting. So like, I'm guessing, I mean, I checked out Gareth's portfolio. Obviously, it's a really great line of work.
Yeah.
I kind of love the fact that like whenever I think of accents and I try to do an accent other than like doing a really bad Southern one, it's like whenever I try to do something that's like close to like British, I always sound Indian. It's like I cannot I think it's amazing the people that have that sort of like the ear and the like the vocal box for it. I know again, Rotato out there, like he has a great Russian accent. Yellow is like he'll just say it in chat, yellow strimmer. But it's amazing that like he could just like kind of pick out that's too Swahili. I'm like, what? It didn't sound anything like that. Anything like that to me. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm just very. I'm always. I always get very excited when it comes to finding people that can just pick out intricacies. Like, I guess for myself, I can center anything.
Gareth is a freaking machine. He just oozes talent. It makes me sick. I'm like, I want whatever you're drinking because I want to be like you too when I grow up. It's in the milk.
Oh yeah, it's in the milk. Gotta drink your milk, kids.
So there's a good question in here from Epic Pikachu. If it isn't too personal, what would you say was your lowest point on the journey to where you are now, and how did you bounce back from it?
Awesome question.
Okay, so I think the hardest part of any journey is remembering to stop and love yourself. As I've said before, I do rip myself to shreds. And there have been times where I was so hard on myself that I'm like, I'm not good enough. I'm just going to give up. And there were times where actually last year, this is actually really personal, so I'm putting myself all the way out there.
Appreciate
But there was a time for about a week, I was homeless. I was living in my car and nobody knew. I was showering at 24 Hour Fitness and I was like trying to still make appointments. That same week, I was still meeting with people from Sony. Life had to go on.
Yeah,
and I had to really dig deep and remind myself that this is why I moved here. I've sacrificed too much to come to LA to give it all up because I had a bump in the road. And this is one of those times where I have to learn to swallow my pride and ask for help and know that it's okay that I didn't come to LA and become an instant star. Not that I'm like looking to be a star, excuse me, but it's like nobody ever wants to admit that, holy crap, like, did I just take a wrong turn? Like, where did I go wrong? And I think how I was able to bounce back was just a little bit of tough love on myself, saying, no, stop crying, stop crying. You get your ass up. You go and you talk to people, you network, you dress like you're coming from a different business meeting. And to this day, or now people know now, but nobody knew. Nobody knew. And I made a point to realize that it doesn't matter who you're dealing with, whether it's like top tier people at Capitol Records or, a little coffee shop, where there's a prospective manager, it's all in your attitude and your perspective. And fortunately, I was able to catch that early before, I ruined any opportunities that I know of. Because at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's about, can you follow through? Did you deliver quality product?
Yep.
And are you dependable? Are you reliable? Can you focus under pressure?
Yes.
And I'm really thankful for the military for that, because as a combat air traffic controller, no matter how good of an athlete you are, or how good of a soldier you are, like, can you perform your job?
Yes.
Can you keep calm under pressure? And I think that really kicked in for me. So long story short, too late for that. I think the hardest part is really just knowing when to dig deep and say, no, you're not throwing in the towel, not today. You've got big shoes to fill, and you have to remember why you set out to do in the first place.
I think it's really easy to, when you're at that point, and I'm sure I've told a couple of people in chat, I've told a couple of people in IRL that, a low point that, my wife and I had hit a couple of years ago, but it's like, that's the easiest place to get like down on yourself. And that's also the easiest place to, like, you have nowhere to go but up. So you do anything you can to go up. And you just have to get past, you have to get past yourself. Cause it's really, you're at that point, there are only two people in the room, you and you.
Yep.
And as you said, you dressed like you wouldn't have dressed before. You acted like you wouldn't have acted before, just to get yourself out of that rut. And obviously, look where it's gotten you. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. I know it's probably not a normal interview question, but I really do appreciate you coming out like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's see what's.
You want to keep picking out questions there. You're seeing them as fast as I am. So
yeah. Let's see. What is your favorite quote, saying, life lesson? I don't know. There's so many. Like, I've kind of melded everything I've kind of seen and picked up and made it my own. I really just think that there's a couple things that I live by. First off, time is going to pass regardless. So it's up to you to make it count. I feel like the only limitations, rather, that we have in our life are those by which we constrain ourselves. So meaning, like, if you automatically think that, oh, I'm not going to make it, or, oh, I'm not good enough, well, then you're not.
You already decided your fate. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's always been something, and then also too, like I was saying earlier, I think it was Maya Angelou actually that said it, that people will forget what you said, they'll forget, what you did, but they'll never, ever, ever forget how you made them feel.
Yes.
And that is like, whoa.
Yes, agreed.
So yeah, those are just a few of them. I mean, there's so much good stuff out there. Is that a parrot?
No, it's not a parrot. That's my oldest cat getting bullied, unfortunately. That's a new one, though.
Oh, yeah, because we all just have parrots, just
of course, yes, I have. I don't have cat, yeah.
Hello, would you like a cracker?
Hello.
See, my accent isn't that great either. It's cool.
Yeah,
I just make up my own.
Hello. I don't know. Maybe after I drink enough, you'll hear my southern accent, but we'll get to that later.
Do you like shawarma? Dude, I love food.
Especially being in LA, I swear. Okay, I gotta ask, favorite restaurant in LA?
Oh, that's not fair. I love so many. Now, I mean, okay, so let me ask you this. What cuisine? And I can tell you my favorite restaurant.
First thing that comes to mind is Mexican.
Mexican. I haven't had too much Mexican.
Have you tried Tito's Tacos?
No, but I've heard it's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Right now, one of my favorite places is Takami Robata and Sushi.
Okay.
In LA. I freaking love sushi.
Well, what place is that again?
Takami, it's off of 4th and Wilshire, I think. Is it Wilshire? I think it's Wilshire. But you can look it up. It's Takami.
Takami. Oh, okay.
Takami Robata and Sushi. It's on the 21st floor in a building. And then there's oh my God, what's the other place? Of course, now that I want to remember, I can't.
I can't remember.
But it's I love Indian food. I just recently, last year, discovered Indian food, and oh my goodness, where have you been all my life?
Oh man, I would totally agree with you there if I wasn't just like, oh my God, so spicy. Like I just can't take I can't take any of it. Nope, nope,
You know, you can have
nope.
it mild too.
Mild, I know, and everybody's like, yeah, you can have it mild. It's like, but it's like saying you can have like, you know, it's all sriracha to me.
Oh my goodness.
That's how bad I am at taking at taking spicy things. I just no can't.
Like no lie, no joke. I
No joke.
swear. Now I know what Ratatouille was experiencing the first time I had Indian food. I literally saw like colors flashing before my eyes, like, oh my God, all the spices and all the tastes and all the flavors. Oh my.
It was literally a Pixar movie.
Yeah, it was so good. It was a freaking Pixar movie. That was awesome.
Awesome,
Yes.
awesome. Okay, I just had to ask what your favorite place in LA was. I mean,
What about you? What's your
mine,
favorite?
my favorite place would have to be Daikokyo. Just about, it's a ramen shop on First Street in Alameda. Just a couple of First Street and Central, a couple blocks from me. I'm in Little Tokyo. Absolute favorite ramen. Like, been to Japan a lot of times. Still better than what I have in Japan.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, ramen is good. I had the best ramen place I've ever had was in Hawaii.
Hawaii. Huh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I've had ramen in LA yet. That's a new one for me. I'm gonna
Then
have
go
to
to Daikokyo and you'll never go to another place again.
totally will. Totally. Okay, so by the way, that link I was telling you about earlier about the little vocal clip that like launched my entire career, I dropped it into the chat.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Well, into your chat. I don't know if it's, let's see, it's in Skype. I don't know if you've got it or not in there.
Oh, I have it. Yes.
Okay.
Do you mind if I play it?
Oh, go for it.
Okay, so we're gonna play what's this, Midnight Lament demo.
So before you play it, I'm just
Okay.
going to give a quick little whatever. So
Go
he
ahead.
just basically wanted a clip to hear how it would sound over the speakers in his studio. So everything you hear was completely improvised, language, melody, everything just like off the top of my head.
Okay.
And then the synth pad was added after the fact.
Great. Okay, let's see if I have my Chrome. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna play it for them. It's 48 seconds.
So quiet, I hear crickets. Cricket, cricket. Is it playing?
It is.
Oh.
Chat's reacting.
Oh, wow. Oh my God, that's exciting.
Jesus Christ. I'll be completely straight. Wow, like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love great art, and that was. Yeah, that Rotato, that is her. Yeah, wow, that was her demo tape. Again, the link is in chat. Wow, I think the chat is mirroring my feelings right now. I hope let me say we're not near the end of this conversation yet, but I really do hope this isn't like we hear a hell of a lot more from you.
Yeah,
And
yeah. There's plenty and more.
Yeah, that was amazing. And so like, okay, so let me like take me through. I love the creation of things. I love the process.
Yeah.
What were you thinking and feeling when you made that? Like, what drove you to go, like, sort of like, because obviously in Ori, your voice is very, very high. It's very complimentary to Garrett's music, of course. But like when you're given sort of a blank slate like that, what kind of drove you to go like lower, more?
Well, my natural range, I actually have just over 4 octaves.
Okay.
Naturally.
Mm-hmm.
I have had to work for that and stretch my range, but Truthfully, again, the opportunist in me, I'm always looking at the bigger picture, and I was thinking, okay, well, if he's giving me the time of day, knowing that I did my homework on him first and realized the magnitude that this composer has, I was like, I need to send him something that is completely heartfelt. And if I had one opportunity to talk to the world, what would I say? And my whole thing is, what I strive for, I actually have an interview on YouTube, I think on my channel, and it talks about like what my main goal is out of life. And I truthfully, Brian, I really want to be for people what I wish I would have had, or wish I would. Let me retract that statement, because I did have some very strong people in my life, my family, but at that time, I was so myopic and narrow-minded, I didn't realize that I had a support system. I didn't realize that I had people believing in me. But as kids, we never want to like believe in our parents or whatever. It's like, oh, my parents hate me, the typical emo, BS. But no, I really wish that I knew that I had somebody that felt what I felt, that it was okay to feel what I was feeling. It was okay to express myself in certain ways. And I want to create music that really resonates with people on levels deeper than they even know exist.
Yeah.
That, it's like nobody ever wants to talk about the real stuff. Nobody ever wants to talk about the heartache, the anguish, the struggles that we endure on a day-to-day basis. And again, all about perspective. Even in the darkest of times, it can still be beautiful. And at that point, I was like, this is like therapy for me. This is like, every time I think about all the things that I wish I could go back and change, that I wish that were different or whatever, I realized that those things were hard because it's shaped me to be who I am. So instead of being upset or pretending like it didn't happen, why not embrace it? Why not like commemorate that and encapsulate it into something beautiful? And that's how this kind of was birthed. And, it was insane, like a 48 cent off the top of my head. It's like, wow, if I can do that, I want to know what else I can explore and find out what I can, or I'm maybe not the best at. It's all about trial and error. And so that's kind of how that was born. That ironically, I just released my first single, and my producer, it was the same composer that I sent this to. So it's an orchestral pop type song. I'm kind of branching into really like orchestral hybrid music, but it still tells a story. Okay. And I had a great team with that too. So I'm happy to link that if you guys are interested at all.
Oh, please do. I think these guys, I think what Potato's saying, can our vocal cords get married? I will get you new ones. You can have.
Oh my goodness, that's so awesome.
So please link the single. I'm sure they'd love to hear it.
Let's see. I have the promo video. I don't like forcing music down people's throats if they don't want to buy it. I have a teaser video on YouTube, and if you like what you hear, the opening or whatever, then feel free to download it. But I don't, to my knowledge, unless somebody ripped it, I don't think it's online. So,
okay, all right,
let's see,
gotcha.
YouTube.com.
Everybody throw your money. Throw your money.
Let's see here. I guess it would help if I go to my channel.
Huh.
So let's see here, share. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now, the projects that I'm working on. I want to take this concept of painting a portrait with my vocals, like this, using my voice as an instrument, and also telling a story, not just with the way I shape and phrase my vocal lines, but also telling a legitimate story.
Yes.
So this song that I wrote with my producer, and okay, let's see, this team, I have to give plugs where credit's due, because I had a
by all
great
means.
team.
Yes.
Taylor Graham, ironically, I reconnected with him here in LA. We actually went to high school together, and then here it was like 10, 11 years later, and he's like, oh, holy crap, he responded to an ad I put out for a lyricist just to team up with. And so we wrote the lyrics together. I kind of told him my life story, and like, this is, if I had one opportunity again to tell the world my story, how do I encapsulate it into like a small song? And so that this is the story of my life of overcoming all of the shit storms that came to me and how I survived.
Yeah.
All the people that told me you're never going to amount to anything, or who pumped me up and promised me the world, even here in LA, and then they turned their backs on me and like left me living in my car. Yeah. You know, so it's like this is my words back to the world. Like, if I can do it, you can do it too. I believe in you and I'm here with you along the way. So, and then there's Kimberly Starkey, who she's another wonderful, amazing composer. She's actually a pianist, and she's got some work up on YouTube and whatever. She's incredible. Yeah. We were talking one day, and I was telling her like this vision I have. I'm like, I want to write this really epic, beautiful, orchestral song that is still modern and mainstream, but it could be placed in the end credits of a movie. And she's like, well, I'm really inspired. I'm like, me too. Yeah. Let's do it. She's like, what do you mean? She lives up in Ashland, Oregon. And I'm like, let's do it. I'm driving right now. I straight get in my car and I canceled everything, my meetings and everything. And I drive up for a day and a half or 2 days, I guess.
Oh, I know that drive.
Up, yeah, I drove up there. I slept for a couple hours. We straight got to work, and then I drove back home to LA. And from there, I sent it to my producer friend Ivan Torrent in Spain, and he did the production. And all together, it unfolded with us, and I'm really, really happy with it. So this is kind of the direction I'm moving in, but I still have other projects that are going on, so you won't ever fully lose that Ori feel, but I'm definitely exploring new veins of new pumping blood. So
nice.
Here we go.
Very, very cool.
Let's see. So without further ado, here, I'm going to post it in chat. This is the teaser video for Unbroken.
All right, so just for the sake of the stream, because I'm going to be putting this in as a VOD.
Oh, nice.
The entire interview will be a VOD. Yeah. I'd like to, if you don't mind, I will play it on the stream.
Yeah, no, go for it.
All right, so
it's a video too. So. Yep,
I'm gonna put it here.
And there's voice acting in there too.
Oh, is there? Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Let's get this up here. Let's get that there. All right. Where in LA was this?
It takes courage not to fail.
North Hollywood.
Okay.
And there's always a story.
Yeah, it's in 4K if you're interested.
It's on iTunes, you said?
Mm-hmm. I'm reading the comments. This is awesome.
There you go. You got a sale.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah, to hear the entire story, the lyrics themselves, I mean, it's so true.
I love good lyrical songs. I know my wife does too, so hopefully play it in its entirety in a bit.
Absolutely.
But yeah, good. Best of luck with that.
Thank you very much.
The expansion. I know it can be kind of like a oh god, the chat. You guys are amazing. My wallet
Oh my
exploded. My
goodness.
wallet no longer exists.
Thank you so much, you guys. That's so awesome.
No, if there's anything we at Twitch as casters know how to do, we know how to sell good work. Whether it's gaming, whether it's music, good soundtracks, and myself, like I was particularly excited about this interview because I'm like two of the biggest things that I'm a fan of in games. So many people love like graphics, they love gameplay and stuff like that. My loves growing up were always the soundtrack and the vocals of games, like the story your ears go through when you're, whether it's good voice acting, whether it's good good vocalist in a song, or a good composition.
Yeah.
That's always been, I usually call RPGs, those were the storybook that I grew up with.
Yeah,
I didn't read novels. I played games.
Dude, I cried like a baby at Final Fantasy VIII. No shame, no shame, no shame, no shame.
And you're about to see my wife comment in chat because FF8 is one of her all-time favorites.
Your wife's name.
She's Jen. She's also Icy Moon in the chat. So when you see her in
Jen.
there,
You are awesome. We're Final Fantasy VIII buddies for life.
But yeah, Final Fantasy, like, for everybody out there, we'll be playing that on Wednesday because the newest one's coming out, as well as the demo for the next the one after that. So Final Fantasy was my storybook.
Nice.
Nobuo Uematsu is my god. Like, he is I met him once in person. He was in LA. They were playing at UCLA, and I was able to meet him. I paid the VIP price to see him, and I just completely lost it, like, in front of him. Like, I completely froze up. It's like, oh my god, it's like I see my idol in music. Like, if I ever got into music, he would be the reason to do it.
Yeah, that's the iconic, like, squealing like a little girl, like, Yee!
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Oh my goodness. That's so funny. Yeah, I definitely liked the Final Fantasies. I know it's kind of controversial. Some people love it or they don't love it, but I really liked it. I felt like it was really emotional. And truthfully, even more so than Final Fantasy, I actually loved Kingdom Hearts. That's my go-to games.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Those were like outside of the entry drug for a lot of people getting into not only JRPGs, but J-pop as well. Like, Utada Hikaru doing the beginning of Kingdom Hearts was the entry drug for a lot of people getting into that. So I mean that's kind of like the jumping point for a lot of the interests that both my wife and I share. But yeah, I mean, again, this is, I don't know why it's not downloading my stupid phone, but I hope we can hear a lot more than just one song eventually. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I'm currently in production and working on two simultaneous projects, actually more than two, but like for personal projects, I'm working on two right now. So, and early next year, there are talks of me on a Disney movie. So we'll see how that goes.
Really?
Yeah, so that'll be great. That's not voice acting. That would just be the score vocalist, so singing much like Ori.
Lovely. Yes.
Yeah. So that'll be neat. I'm crossing my fingers for that. But Hollywood, anything can happen at any time. So
of course, yes.
It's never official until it's already happened.
Now, I asked you to do a raid welcome. I am now going to ask you if you'd like to do a subscriber welcome, because
Sure.
Ventral here just subscribed to us. So
awesome. Congratulations, Ventral. You're not going to regret it. Welcome.
Welcome to the Crusaders, my friend. Thank you for the support. And I hope you and you in chat, I hope you're all enjoying yourselves. Frozen 3, jeez.
We haven't even gotten to 2 yet.
We're not even at 2. Everybody's like, oh, there we go. Let it go reprised.
Oh, there was a question in here.
There were a couple of other questions in here. Let's see here.
If you had to sum up your life in one word, unpredictable. That's for damn
Amen.
sure.
Yes. Yes.
Be ready for whatever and any time, because whenever, wherever, you never know when opportunity is going to strike you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
So
see.
we had a question about what your, you know, what one of your lowest moments was, and like, you know, kind of living out of that car.
Yeah.
What would be one of your greatest? And it could be like, it doesn't have to be a moment from like, you know, your current career. It could be any moment, like any moment you can name.
I thought I knew a different answer if you would have asked me like a week ago. But truth be told, and I actually came to that realization when I went through this same question with Microsoft.
Okay.
My greatest moment was not when all this happened and I found out that I was going to have the opportunity to work with these people. The greatest moment so far is seeing the reaction to Ori and the Blind Forest, and to see how your joint efforts have come together to create such a beautiful masterpiece, and it affects people. To see, like, I'm not even kidding you, like it almost brings tears to my eyes now, seeing the joy in people's faces when you announce that, hey, I'm here and I want to interact with you. Like, I'm on your level. I'm no bigger than anybody else, and I'm here to share with you. And I felt like Santa Claus handing out like little download things. So it was fun, you know.
I definitely know my chat got a little bit. We're like, oh my god! I mean, you saw me. I went nuts. Yeah. So go ahead.
It's that pivotal moment where it's like, wow, it's really humbling, and it feels so intrinsically good inside to know that, you know, my teeny tiny little part in the grand scheme of things helps impact somebody, even if it's just for an evening of, you know, 8-hour gameplay, you know. But I know for those 8 hours it really meant something special, and you know, it's really a beautiful thing, and I'm so grateful that I get to experience it.
I think that especially as gamers, I think we have a, like I was saying before, that you know, it is very easy for gamers to criticize, but it's also very easy for gamers to show their appreciation for things. And I think, at least in the Twitch community, one of the things that makes Twitch special is the fact that you get to watch people play the work that you took part in, but you also get to see all the reactions to it in real time. You don't have to see a Kotaku or a Giant Bomb or a Polygon like review it and then have that one person talk about how great that game was. But you know, but you get to see these hundreds, thousands of voices of people, and like I'm like, Ori got an amazing reception, and one of my teammates, his name's iCasper, he's actually playing it for the first time. So if you're looking for anybody new to invade, I would definitely suggest him. I'll throw the link in Skype for you. Nice. He's actually thinking of speedrunning the game.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which would just a completely different kind of skill level from the way I took it. I love to enjoy the story. He wants to be able to play through it, enjoy it, and then speedrun it. So,
you know what's funny?
Go ahead.
I was totally, like, my one disappointment with Twitch is I was so hoping there was a mic feature, because I was totally going to troll the fans and just start randomly like singing in the middle of gameplay and confuse the hell out of people. Like, who the hell is singing?
I would have loved that, actually. And like, if like I could have started, you know, one of the ways I could have started this cast was to just play Ori and then have you come in and start singing, which I believe has been asked for a couple of times. If you can sing something. So, but if you feel comfortable doing so, we can definitely make some time for your vocal tones.
Putting me on the spot here.
I'm giving you time to think it over, and you know, if not, then they can just buy your single and hear it that way. That's completely fine too.
I think it's more or less like when I'm put on the spot, I don't know what to sing.
I completely understand that. It's like, hey Brian, talk about design. I don't know, I use Photoshop.
Right?
Yeah. And now they're disappointed at me because like my chat's disappointed at me because I didn't have you just kind of come in singing to singing to Ori when I was playing it, but I do prefer the way we started because we had such a great intro, like kind of that life story bit. So I believe Rotato had a question earlier about what your favorite area of Ori was.
My favorite area of Ori.
I guess this would be from a more musical angle.
it's really hard to say because I think everything is unique and specific for its own reasons. It all ties into the story.
Yeah.
I was actually just telling Gareth, there's one track where actually it started out with Rachel Mellis. She's on the flute, the ethnic flutes. Oh my God, she's amazing. I think it's either track 2 or 3 in the soundtrack, and that was like originally kind of one of my favorites because it's like light and bouncy. Yeah. Lately, I've been listening to the track that actually features Tom Boyd on oboe. He's been in like 1,500 plus Hollywood movies. That man is an incredible musician. Yeah. The name of the track is called Up the Spirit Cavern Walls, I believe. Okay. And there's right around 2 minutes and 29 seconds. There's a little motif in there that I cannot for the life of me get out of my head. It's absolutely incredible.
Would you happen to know off the top of your head which part that comes out in?
In the game?
Yeah.
It's right. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. It's right before you enter the spirit tree and right before my voice comes in.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
Yeah. And then also too, I think I kind of like the end credits as well because it's a nice contrast where this whole time I've been really reserved. And for the people that don't know and are not familiar with my voice, I'm actually I'm a power vocalist. Like I do the power notes, the really strong ethnic voices and just like belting, just like really raw, guttural, evocative, passionate stuff. Yeah. And so that's the one time I was allowed to kind of let go. And I still didn't go full force, but it's a really nice contrast because this whole time it's been really beautiful and pure and delicate. And now it's just like raw and passionate. It's great. I had a lot of fun with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm looking for the link that shows the track list.
Okay, great.
Let's see here.
Speaking of which, I do need to grab the Ori soundtrack from the iTunes Store.
It's such a great. Let's see. I'm looking. My internet's pretty slow right now.
No worries. Again, to the chat, if you guys have any questions, do feel free to put them in chat. Both Aeralie and I are watching chat. And I guess if you're enjoying what you're seeing, please do tweet it out. If I never try to ask for promotion or anything like that because I feel like just having you guys here is enough for me. But this is definitely very special. So if you want to tweet it out to both me and Aeralie Brighton, Mason, if you can link her up again, that'd be great. Just throw a tweet out to us, tell people that we're talking. We're just talking. It's not even an interview. It's just talking, and really just enjoying each other's company. So definitely just if you'd like to just throw a tweet out there, I'd really appreciate it. Hopefully that bought you enough time to. Your internet.
I'm looking. I know. Let's see here. Oh, hello. I'm a dork. Okay.
You're amongst fellow dorks. There's no worries there.
No, this is like uber dork. Okay. Okay. So it's the final track, 32. Light of Nibel.
Okay.
So actually, if you were to start at track 31 and go into 32, that's the entire like ending of Ori. So if you haven't played, the soundtrack itself will not like take away from your experience. I mean, you can totally listen to the soundtrack beforehand and still have a magical experience playing Ori if you have not, played the entire. And feel free to back me or counter that in your experiences.
No, in my experiences, I find myself drawn to songs after I play.
Okay.
Most of my favorite songs are like pieces that I have. The way I see it is that I can contextually replay the feelings that I had listening to that song in context with the game again when I hear it in the future. Some of my favorite music are like boss songs, like some of the music in FF8, like when you're fighting Ultimisia at the end, like that stuff, right? That's exactly what I know. I can hear the extreme, and I know the battle, I can replay it in my head in some way, and that's what makes music stick to me. I'm sure a lot of people are different in that respect, but I mean, this is like unlike Final Fantasy music in that like you don't necessarily need the context to hear it. It's just very, very light, very environmental kind of music. So I can definitely see people downloading this and experiencing it, and then tying it into the game, and then adding that context to it. Yeah, definitely. I'm just like, I'm still in awe and shock. I don't think it's actually hit me yet that this has happened. It's not even happening. It's happened, or no, excuse me, other way around. It's happening. It's not that it already happened. And I think that that's the incredibly... And by happened, you mean the fact that Ori has been released and that... Yeah, like the process, we may have wrapped up in one way, but in other ways, it's just beginning. And I don't even know how to explain it, to put it to words. It's just, I look at these people, the incredible, even our other soloists, like I said, Rachel Nellis on the Ethnic Winds, and Tom Boyd, who, like I said, is an incredible musician. Yeah. I've learned from both of them. They're very good at what they do. And Gareth Coker wrote some incredible melodies. And I just feel like even through to kind of showcase and spotlight the other two soloists, they're so good in their technique and their craft. Yeah. Their musicianship, I feel like I can learn from them too, just even the way that they phrase, or you listen to the oboe and you hear how it's phrased so beautifully. I mean, it's like you can't not feel something when you listen to these tremendously gifted people. You know, it's just like, wow, that I want to do that too, you know? So, but yeah, I think, it's really hard to say which track is my favorite. I like a lot of them for different reasons. They all tell a story. Yep. So, yeah. We had a voiceover question. Okay. I think it was from Blob Lake, who's still in the chat right now. He's like, much earlier in the chat, he was like, I've been going to college in the fall. I'm going to college in the fall, and I've been considering moving to LA right after to find a job in voiceovers. Do you have any advice or tips or anything? Yes. Find a producer, or actually, if you're savvy enough to do it yourself, get somebody to help you put together a reel. I don't care if you're a recording artist. I don't care if you're a vocalist, a voice character talent. You need to do something to showcase your reel. And again, if you don't have it, you fake it till you become it. You don't even fake it till you make it. Fake it till you become it. But you don't ever practice your mistakes. You practice what you want to be. Amen. And actually, let me get a copy of my vocal reel, just so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. And it's free. This is not a download. Let's see here. So this is just like a conglomeration of movie trailers that I've worked on, or film scores, or video games. You know, this is a hodgepodge of stuff. But the point is that it highlights things that I've already done. Let me find it here. Here we go. Do you want me to send it to you or drop it in the chat? Just drop it in the chat. Okay, here we go. And you can do this with voiceovers, you know, with music, whatever. But this is your ticket in the door. This speaks before you can. That makes a lot of sense. I think it's, you know, it's obvious. I tell the people the same thing, and when they're looking for jobs on the web, you know, it's not even, you know, what schooling you had or anything like that. It's really what can you do. It's like what do you do on your free time? What skills have you learned? Things like that. There's a thank you from him. He's like, plan on creating a few short animations where I'll voice everyone. Would that be a good reel? Usually, as long as it shows different contrasts, different textures, different characters, everything, you want to be careful that it doesn't stagnate. Like, you'll hear in my reel that it changes from different sounds and different emotions and everything. So it's good to have different voices and everything, but just make sure it flows and it keeps the energy up and the pacing. You don't need anything super long, but enough to show what you have to offer. That makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Hopefully, blah, that answered your question. If you have any follow-ups, do post them in chat. Let's see here. Oh, Centicus with an interesting question. What is your background sort of in audio? Are you like just mainly a do you have much audio experience, or?
I mean, I learn as I go.
Okay.
I'm a pretty fast learner. Right now I work with Cubase 7.5. I work with Neumann 102 for my mic.
Okay.
I have a Focusrite and a Mo2 hybrid interface.
Okay.
And I use just Yamaha monitor speakers, nothing crazy, and a MacBook Pro. That's my whole setup. And you don't have to have like top of the line equipment to make something sound good. I think a lot of it is in your technique.
Yep.
You know, and fortunately, again, kind of falling in line with knowing your strengths and weaknesses. I am definitely not a professional engineer. Therefore, I track what I can and I send my stems to the professionals and let them do work their magic.
Yeah, it's always good to have people behind you like, doing that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. So I guess Centicus did ask on that note, any pro tips for removing vocal clicks and wet pops when speaking into a mic, or just shove all the foam in your mouth and wing it?
Definitely having a pop filter helps. There are programs, I want to say, I don't know if it's FabFilter or if it's...
Heard of that one.
I want to say, I'm trying to remember what it's called. For the life of me, I can't think off the top of my head. But it might be Melodyne. There's one other one. Actually, I'm going to look it up. But anyway, they do have stuff that kind of that helps process and remove clicks and pops. But it's nothing a quick Google search can't figure out.
Gotcha.
You know, you almost, I'm sure, if you ask enough people, somebody will know somebody who's looking for hands-on experience in engineering, and they can practice and work on it for free for you.
Sure. Yes.
I'm a huge proponent for self-edification, so download all the demos you can and try the product and teach yourself. I think that's
amen.
Invest a little bit up front to create a lifetime of opportunity for yourself.
Yeah, I'm definitely self-taught at most of this stuff. It's definitely taken me a lot longer, but it's definitely been more fulfilling. People ask if I have had a background in design at all. Like, oh, did I went to school in Rhode Island? Did you go to RISD? Nope, I went to school for business, and everything else has just been kind of like, oh, I'm interested in that. I want to learn about it. I think that's like one of the best traits I can ask of anybody to to try and discover for themselves, is just the willingness to learn and to challenge yourself. And you were talking about that earlier. When you left the military and you were looking for something that you could challenge yourself, got into biochemistry, and then
crazy.
this. So yeah, so it's very interesting how that progresses.
Yeah. Blake asked a question: is there somewhere we can go to learn the chords to the songs? Is that for Ori and the Blind Forest?
Yes, I would believe that.
I want to say that it's in the works right now, that they're getting ready to release some stuff.
Oh, great.
I think we're just kind of looking into all the legal aspects of everything, and then once it's gone through the proper channels, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot more that you'll see of Ori that you can get your hands on.
Yeah. Well, awesome. You heard it here first, guys.
Dude, I'm all for a life-size Naru that I can just like cuddle up to, just like Ori, and like fall asleep.
Oh my god! If I could have a life-size Naru, that would be freaking amazing.
I want just like a whole body pillow. Like, I don't need a bed. Just give me a Naru. I'll totally cuddle the crap out of it.
I want a Naru pillow. I just want to sleep on that guy's stomach forever, please. Oh man. I think there's so back to the as we're like progressing back into the game, Pikachu asked, what was the first thing that went through your mind when you found out you got the job?
Oh my gosh. So we were sitting down to eat and I'm like, where are my French fries? I don't think it really set in. I really don't. I don't think it really hit me. It still is like, I guess I just feel completely lucky. And I've got a tremendous amount of gratitude that out of everybody it could have been, it was me. And it's just, holy crap, and it's finally setting in to look back and say, wow, look at what we accomplished together as a team. So I don't ever think it was really about me. It was about what can I offer to the bigger picture.
Yes,
and, it's really amazing to see everybody's efforts jointly combined. Like Captain Planet, our powers combined.
Yeah, of course. I mean, all good art and work is that way. I mean, like Twitch, for instance. I think you know, I'll just do this PSA for a second. Is that there are a lot of people who believe like the talk like Twitch is a kind of a monolithic sort of thing, and I guess I would take, at least for the people in here, I would take some credit in trying to humanize like, you know, what Twitch is, and that there are over 200 people that work on Twitch every day trying to make this the best streaming site for gaming and other things on the planet. And it is very easy to see the company, like to see Microsoft or to see Twitch as just that one thing that you can just throw blame on. But when you humanize it, like seeing developers in here, seeing like the fact that Gareth came into Bro's chat, or seeing you come into my chat, like it just like it humanizes every little bit. No, I'm not going to tell her about the semicolon Pikachu. I will have to. I'll have to in a sec. But now I have to anyway. But yeah, it brings us closer to. It takes out the middleman, right? It takes out like, you know, all that promotion, all that marketing, and just says, hey, this is a person that worked on it. This person can talk about this from the heart. And I think that's, you know, a lot of the reason that I wanted you on here is being able to talk about not just this game, but your kind of life experience as somebody who's worked on a game. And it's something that, you know, at least people in the chat or people that will watch the VOD later are really hungry for.
Right. You know, I just hope, like, if there's anything that I could offer to you guys, I just hope that you guys can see how much love and pride we took into this. And it really was all for you. And, you know, the fact that we do want to follow up, you know, it really does, like you said, humanize it, and it puts a personal touch. Like, we care so much, like we want to follow through and see it to the end. Like, this is our baby, and not only did we birth it, but we're like delivering it to you by hand. And, you know, to really follow up and follow through, I think the best part about this whole process, like I said earlier, I did think it was the process until I saw the aftermath, and I saw like, wow, it's so much bigger than any one person.
Yeah.
You know, it's about how can this affect the world, and the fact that I'm lucky enough to be able to interact on a one-on-one level with you guys. It's a beautiful thing, and it makes me want to cry.
Now I have to, see, this is one of the things. You have small communities and you tell them stories, and then they take those stories and they just go ape shit with them. So like you see semicolons in the chat, and like if you come in here in the future and you see semicolons, this is the reason why. I broke Twitch with a semicolon.
What? For coding?
I code. We use this language for our visual style sheets that doesn't like semicolons at all. And I like to work in the browser, meaning I like to kind of design. God damn it, Masonist. I like to design in the browser. So what happens is I'll copy paste things, because it's like, okay, I'm working in here. I got what I got, and I'm going to copy it over to the code and then commit that, whatever.
Yeah.
I was a month on the job, and I did that, and I didn't. We have this. I came from a company where it was like the Wild West, right? You could press the deploy button yourself. You could break things on this, you know. Break things on the site, things like, as long as you could deploy it later. Twitch is completely different. So worked 2 years at that other company, came here. I didn't get anything code reviewed. I just kind of like, oh, it's an easy enough change. Nobody's gonna want to code review like, you know, a semi, you know, it wasn't even I forgot about the semicolon. It's a one-line change. I pushed it to production, and the entire site went unstyled because they had choked on a semicolon. The site's compiler choked on a semicolon. And yeah, so for about 40 minutes I was in my seat thinking I was gonna get fired.
Oh no.
And I had,
you know what? It's a story.
Yeah, it's now an amazing story that you can see now that my chat is totally into. So yeah, that's how I broke Twitch. And like, you know, that's everybody's kind of like, you know, everybody gets one, right? I haven't broke Twitch since, but whenever Twitch breaks, you know, people come in here or they tweet me with the semicolon. I'm just like, oh, well, there you go. I don't get any breaks from this. My coworkers give me shit about it too. So just like all sides. All sides. So there you go. You get to learn about the guy who broke Twitch with a semicolon.
We broke Reddit the other day with our AMA. We had a bunch of developers, and myself included. We were answering a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
And there are people from both Microsoft and Moon, and we crashed the servers like so many times.
Awesome. I'm glad that went really well for you. I'm guessing that was your first AMA.
Yeah, that was my first AMA ever. Actually, it was my first Reddit experience too. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so there's a couple other questions here. Let's see. How do you stay so humble and kind within a culture that is so fascinated with pain and suffering?
That is an amazing question, actually.
That is a great question. Thank you for that. And it kind of goes back into line with not comparing yourself with everybody else. As long as you're staying true to yourself and you feel good about what you're doing and you can look at yourself in the mirror each and every night and know that you did the best you could, not only for the greatest good of yourself, but for the people around you, then I think that it's inevitable that you're going to keep the right healthy attitude and perspective because, dude, there's going to be days where you're like, so off your game and I'm like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get hired again. Yeah. And then there's days where you feel like you're on top of your game. However, you remember where you come from and you remember that just because you have one good day doesn't mean that you're not gonna suck ass tomorrow and you're not gonna get fired. The minute that you feel like there's nothing left to gain, then you're already done. Yes. Because, in an ever-changing world, how is somebody gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect that they're still going to have the same results? Like it just doesn't work that way. So yeah, let's see. There's another one in here too.
I saw one about what are your favorite games and or systems?
Favorite games and systems. I was in love with Sega Genesis growing up. Actually,
a Genesis person.
Yeah. I love Sega Genesis, but that's what I grew up on. Like, that's what I had. I did have other people that had, the Nintendo and, Duck Hunt and everything. That was so badass. And Mario, those were awesome. But the first game I remember ever playing there were three of them. We had Aladdin, we had Sonic, and we had Lion King. And then gradually, we would accumulate everything, like Pac-Man and all that. But it was so much fun. I remembered Lion King being so badass and so hard at the same time.
I remember Lion King. I always got stuck at the freaking wildebeest part. But
yeah, me too. That freaking wildebeest thing. I think the farthest I ever got was collecting the bugs in the Hakuna Matata scene. After that, we're done. Nope.
Done. Yeah, no, too tough. I'm too casual for this. Too casual.
Let's see. I do also enjoy the RPGs. I really like Final Fantasies, the Kingdom Hearts games. Spyro, I loved the crap out of Spyro.
Spyro, oh man, you should see. If you ever get the chance, twice a year, I'm going to turn you into a Twitch person, of course. It's part of my job description to do so.
Yes.
Twice a year, there is a week of speed running, and it's called Awesome Games Done Quick. It's always the first week of January.
Nice.
And then there's Summer Games Done Quick, which is usually the end of July, early August, and it is just a week on Twitch where people speedrun games, and they pretty much ruin childhoods because they beat games that took you 30 hours in 30 minutes. And I believe Spyro is a pretty popular title to be run at those. So I would definitely encourage you to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, when SGDQ comes out. So, but yeah, it's still a little ways away, but yeah.
That's okay. No, that's good to know.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going though. Keep going.
Let's see what else. Crash Bandicoot was also the poop. Pretty awesome. I said Kingdom Hearts. Let's see, Dragon Age. I really liked that. Skyrim. Oh my God, I loved me some Skyrim.
Oh, you're a Skyrim fan.
I was a thief. Freaking loved the Dark Brotherhood, all that stuff. I mastered all of that. Yes.
I am actually. That is one of the games I have not played, and I played.
Blasphemy.
I know, right? I played through Oblivion. I had fun with it. I'm not the biggest fan of Western RPGs, but enough people have been talking about Skyrim that I might have to. I've even had people kind of predict what I'd say, I'll be like, oh hey, it's a dragon, kind of just, so I don't know. I have now developed such a like a backlog of games that I'm gonna have to put that on the back burner on the yeah. Oh, on the top. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Definitely.
Got Rogues for Life there from El Chavo. What about Fallout? Did you ever play Fallout?
I did not play Fallout. I played Fable. I liked Fable.
Fable.
I'm trying to think of what else. Of course, Legend of Zelda. And then if you want to go into the whole Game Boy Color, you know, Pokemon was freaking awesome. And
have you seen Twitch Plays Pokemon at all?
No.
I think they're still doing that. It's twitch.tv/Twitch Plays Pokemon. And it's pretty much what the premise of that is somebody created a way for chat to play Pokemon.
What?
So what they do is that they'd have chat input commands like up, down, left, right, BA, start, you know, and people would, you know, those chat commands would actually control Ash. Nice. And about a year ago, that was like the thing on Twitch was Twitch Plays Pokemon. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, and they actually were able to beat Pokemon Red within 13 days.
Oh my goodness, yeah, Pokemon Red was...
So like 13,000 people were playing this and were able to beat the Elite Four, so they're actually doing it again this year, but they're trying to collect all the Pokemon and beat the Elite Four. They're trying to 100% the game. But it's all chat based. I mean, the things people have done with Twitch is just amazing. And then yes, Kika in the chat is saying there are a group of speedrunners that they're not necessarily they're people that are called tassers. They're tool assisted speedrunners. So they use tools like emulators and other tools like that to be able to speedrun games optimally. Like they go frame by frame trying to find the most optimal frame. But they also hack games, so they're pretty much the know-it-alls when it comes to games. And they were able at AGDQ earlier this year. They were able to program Twitch chat inside Pokemon Red or Green. One of the Pokemon games, they were able to program Twitch chat into it. So people in chat were talking. They were showing chat through Pokemon.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so that's what Kika is talking about with Pokemon Plays Twitch. And really quickly, Thrice, thank you for 2 months being a Crusader, my friend.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, congratulations.
Tell her about my stream next. Actually, Kika, you had talked to Kika a couple of nights ago. Somebody is also trying to get who had just got into four octaves, I believe. So trying to do her own thing with voice acting. Hopefully you've learned something, Kiko, through this.
She's got 4 octaves as well.
I believe she just passed 4 octaves recently.
Congratulations. That's huge. That right there, you're setting yourself up to be a bigger asset for studios because you have such a wide range. That's fantastic.
There you go, Kika. There you go. See, not only will you be known for Jolly Ranchers, you'll also be known for your voice acting. She loves giving out Jolly Ranchers. Like I met her at PAX Prime last year, and like she was just always there with Jolly Rancher. Yeah.
That's so cool. What's your favorite Jolly Rancher flavor?
Mine, watermelon.
Oh, me too.
I'm a big watermelon guy. Look at that.
Yes.
Cut from the same cloth, I gotta say.
Heck yeah, definitely. Well, I think I need to start wrapping up here, but I'm still happy to answer a couple more questions.
Sure. We got one from Calzonius before he leaves. All right.
Okay.
What was the developer's expectation of people's reactions to Ori, and were there any fears of bad reactions?
I don't think there was actually an expectation placed on what people, like there were no preconceived notions as to what we felt it was going to be like. Okay. You know, I think that a lot of it was just us doing the best we could and putting all of our love and our talents and strengths into one piece that we polish, that we see the beauty in, and then just send it off to the world and hopefully people pick up on all the love that went into the game. You know, it wasn't really about, oh, we're going to do this for feels and we're going to do this for that. No, we did it because it felt right. Yeah. And hopefully it connects with other people, and thankfully it appears that it's been very well received. So that's
definitely, yes. and still people are still playing it, and everybody either talks about the first 10 minutes or the last. It's like, and everything in between, of course. There's so much of this game, and I mean,
much room for activities.
Yes, so much. Well, I mean, since you're wrapping up, of course, if anybody wants to squish in a question at the last minute, please do so. I mean, if do you have anything for our community? Is there anything you want to know about us? Is there anything you want them to know about you other than your amazing single? Yeah, I just like kind of like throw it open there for you.
Well, I've always got an open door, and if you ever think of anything that you want to ask or whatever, feel free to tweet me. Feel free to catch me on my fan page. I'm more than happy to answer. It may take me a little bit of time, but I will certainly do my best to get to you. And if there's anything I can leave and impart on you all, is to never give up on what you feel your calling is. Don't ever let anybody convince you otherwise. If you feel like you're the greatest cheese grater in the world, you grate that cheese.
Amen to that.
If you feel like you are a painter or you're a carpenter or whatever, and also don't let money get in the way, because let me remind you, I'm not kidding when I said I only had $200 to my name. And I'm not saying be completely reckless, like be smart about your decisions, make educated and calculated risks. Yep. But, don't let things get in the way. You, instead of asking why, ask why not. And always seek the truth. Be true to yourself. Don't ever, sell out. Don't ever do something because you think somebody else wants you to do it. You do what inherently feels right to you. And I guarantee you that will take you so much farther in life than you doing things for the sake of attention or for the hope that things will stick. So I hope that's I know I kind of said it fast.
Oh, no. Well, if they didn't catch it, they can catch the VOD.
Perfect.
Well, we got a couple more here. Do you have a favorite YouTuber?
A favorite YouTuber? Unfortunately, I'm kind of ashamed to admit I don't get to watch a whole lot of anything.
That's fine. I don't either.
So unfortunately, I don't have an answer for that one. But
no worries.
There's plenty of talent that comes from YouTube. I can tell you that much.
Indeed. Will you stream on Twitch?
Again, I probably won't, only because I have no free life. So
that's
yeah.
Well, if you ever do find a moment where we do have a growing music category,
absolutely,
I would love to hear your vocal tones, whether it's your singing or your voice acting. If you ever need help with that, you happen to know somebody on staff. Anyway, my wife asks, do you have a favorite character in Ori?
Sign, of course.
Of course. Of course. And it's very, very good. I remember I felt so bad when you came in here, and I was like, I called her like, oh, it's like a Navi.
Oh, no, it's okay.
But I'm like, no, it's not. It's completely not a Navi. Like, holy crap. It's like, the voice is so much. It's not, hey, listen. Hey. It wasn't, no. It was. Cheers. That was, yeah, you did an amazing job with Sign. Favorite animated movie?
Favorite animated movie? Oh my gosh, there's so many. Oh God, you put me on the spot. Pretty much anything Disney. Honestly, I love the crap out of Disney.
Disney fan? There you go.
Yeah, huge Disney fan. Yeah, I can't think off the top.
What I need to do is, have lunch with you with my wife, and you can just go all over on Final Fantasy VIII and Disney, because apparently you both have that in common.
I would love that, actually. We need to go. We can have ramen.
We can have ramen. Yes, we got. Oh, awesome. Yes. Let's see. So, crap, man. 2 hours of your time, I must say. I guess I'll start wrapping it up here. It has been a distinct pleasure and probably one of the best moments I've had on stream so far in my 10 months, 11 months almost streaming here on Twitch. Thank you so much, Aeralie, for your time and your words and your wisdom to the chat. I'm gonna throw this VOD out as far as I possibly can, because I think there are a lot of I honestly think I'm not just trying to flatter you. There are honestly a lot of things that people can learn from your experiences. And again, hearing it from a third party, somebody who doesn't do what we do every day. Yeah. Being able to talk about that, there's a lot to learn there. And again, like everybody in chat, like just the utmost thanks and appreciation for you making time for us.
Absolutely. And thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and to meet some incredible people. I definitely am walking away a little more enriched today. So thank you.
I'm glad to hear it. I guess one more thing, I'll probably talk to you about this online. My wife did request that I ask you about doing something for the channel, possibly for my Crusaders, maybe a sub greeting with your lovely voice. Absolutely. But we can talk about that later. Oh, awesome. Now I'm even more like, even more hyped now.
Why not?
Yes. Cool. Well, I guess everybody's kind of bidding you farewell. I guess I will do so the same. Again, thank you so much. And I guess Mason will throw your links again in chat. Please, everybody, do throw Aeralie a follow on Twitter or on Facebook. Thank you for being here tonight. You know, Crusaders, just show your love for this. This is pretty amazing. So thank you. I'll let you go now. And yes, thank you so much, Aeralie, for your time. You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. Wow, okay. That just happened. That just happened, my friends. I played maybe the game maybe half an hour, but I think that I think it was worth it. That was an incredible experience. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Please do throw Aeralie a follow on Facebook, on Twitter. Buy her single on iTunes, like SoundCloud. Just, that was a pleasure. Mason's like, good luck topping that. I can't. I really can't. That, like, I don't want to. I really don't want to. That was really special to me. And having Aeralie be somebody who is just so genuine, so like I feel like, you know, when she started talking about at the beginning about how the, you know, going from the military, going from the biochemistry to singing, and now hearing what she can do now, it's just like I knew I could talk to her well, and that kind of broke the ice. And it was, oh wow. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's not the end of the stream yet. I'm probably going to switch over to Isaac